Hey, you're watching my favorite YouTube channel. It's Chillmonger. We're joined by Torian Rain Reloaded. What's up, Torian?
What's going on?
Sub up to him and sub up to Zach Attack Reviews. Hello, Zach.
Uh-oh, look like it froze.
We can deal with it. We can get through that. And then we have the ATL Blerd representing, what do I want to say, Black Comic Lords? Is that your channel?
Sure, why not?
We always fight over that. You're like, I'm a member of it. It's not my channel. You have to call
Right.
me Mark.
Right.
All right, Mark.
What's going on?
Thank you. Black Comic Lords being represented here for Cross, the live stream, where we're going to cover 4 episodes of this hit show on Amazon Prime, which they greenlit for a second season before the first episode even released on out. What does that show you? That shows you that these guys knew a good show when they saw it. The way that they've been promoting it and putting it on the home screen of Amazon Prime. I just saw on the Instagram page that Cross is the #1 Prime show. So that's an accomplishment. Let's see if they can hold that out for next week also. And 2 weeks possibly. I don't know what's coming out on their schedule. Do you know if there's anything that'll knock it out? Zach?
On Prime Video? I don't know. Their release schedule is not really out there like that. They just kind of just drop stuff. It's not like Netflix and the rest of those.
Okay, then. It's all good. We got to support that one. Professor the Film Fan says, good evening, all. First episode, we begin with learning who these characters are. Now, I didn't watch the Morgan Freeman and I didn't watch the Tyler Perry. This was my intro to Alex Cross. Did you see that? And did you find any differences in the character from this version versus the other 2 times we've seen him?
Who are you talking to, Torian?
Torian.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the one thing that's pretty much like the same is that he is a detective and he basically has a psychological background. Like he knows how to read people, and I mean body language, tone, everything. That's why they always call him. So that pretty much stayed the same, even down to the point with how we unfortunately lose his wife. That stays the same as well because this is based off of a book. So that pretty much stayed the same. It's just the only thing difference is the actors who were playing them.
Is John Sampson a regular character in this franchise?
I'm not sure. I can't remember if he is or if he isn't.
I don't recall him being in the Morgan Freeman one, which sticks in my mind more than the Tyler Perry Alex Cross. I did watch the Alex Cross movie at the theater. I'm not going to say it was horrible. I think I enjoyed it at the time, but it never stuck out to me the way the Morgan Freeman ones did because I own both of those DVDs.
That changes the show, though. Like, if he's not in the Morgan Freeman, you're not really remembering it, but if he's not there, then what is that? Alex Cross is the duo brotherhood between this guy and his friend, and the fun that they have along the way,
Right.
joking on each other, the brotherhood and camaraderie. That's new. I don't see that enough in the shows that I watch. It's usually ISO, like a superhero protagonist who's all alone, going through it, and we got like supporting cast. But this is his brother. He takes care of the kids.
Right.
He'll stick around if you got to stay the night at our girl. What's her name again, Mark? I'm pretty sure you remember her name.
Don't remember. The only thing that I can say is she's very, very, very attractive. Well, her real name is Walks, like Susan Walks, Sarah Walks, something like that.
You talking about the L character?
The girlfriend.
L.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up right now because I have IMDb open right now. The one thing that I'll say though, while I'm looking this up, is the difference is this Alex Cross is significantly younger, obviously, than Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman came out the womb at 53 years old. So let's start there. But the first time that he portrayed the character, he was an older, established gentleman in his 60s. I want to say Along Came a Spider was the first one, and he was about 58 or so when that one came out. Clearly, Aldis Hodge is in his mid to late 30s. So it's a significantly younger type character. But the character that you're talking about Torian is right. It is El Montero, played by Samantha Walks, who is very, very, very attractive.
But that being said, Robert Monroe says that I read a lot of the Alex Cross 31 books, and I thought this was more accurate to the source material than the Morgan Freeman and the Tyler Perry, even with the youthful Alex.
What's interesting is something that I saw was not only, was Morgan Freeman too old then, but when they were trying to bring it to Prime, they wanted a white actor. They wanted to whitewash that character. and the writer was like, no, we want to go ahead and stay true to my literary vision, and fought for the brother to be cast. And what's interesting
That's
is
why the show is so good. This was written for white people, and then they went, all right, well, last minute change. We'll get someone black.
Well, here's the thing, though. I didn't realize that Patterson was a white guy. Typically you rarely see that I've seen where a white creator has made a black person their protagonist. I can't
31
think of-
times.
Say it again.
31 times.
Yeah.
Johnny says that Cross is an amazing show. It got me hooked, and I finished the whole series in one day last Friday. How many episodes deep are you right now, Zach, with it? Because I think I told you to hurry up and catch up and watch some episodes.
Only got to get to do 2 of them. Only got the first 2.
All right, cool. We got you for half of the stream. I got some other people who have the link, so maybe they'll able to. We can recast basically. We have here. We get the meeting between our girl Elle, our boy Alex, and Ed Ramsey.
So let's not give any spoilers. Can I suggest this?
What?
Because a lot of people may not have seen it as of yet. So, and I'm not telling you how to run your channel, but I'm just going to suggest that some of your viewers may not know what's going on.
The suggestion is appreciated and noted, and I don't care, but I appreciate that you said no, because like this is the thing, guys. If you guys want to, Amazon and Netflix, if they want to dump something on binge, you're costing yourself that, the grace that I'm supposed to give you guys, and we'll go episode by episode, sure, but like I can't like maneuver around that. So yeah,
but it was just dropped, wasn't it? Like Friday
on Thursday.
Yeah. So people have jobs and families, and they may not have had the opportunity to get to some of the meat, because we don't find out certain things until like episode 3, some of the good stuff till episode 3, I think. So,
and to those people, I say tune out now. The video will be here and available for playback. A lot of them are not even clicking anyways.
Yeah. I had told myself I was going to watch 2 episodes a day from Thursday to Sunday. I watched 2 episodes on Thursday, 2 Friday. Then I got to episodes 5 and 6 on Saturday. And by the end of episode 6, I said, oh no, I got to finish this out. If y'all see how episode 6 ended, you will want to complete it after that. I can't wait. I literally told people an asteroid can come plummeting into the earth and I'm going to go to my grave not knowing how this ended. So I finished watching it. And man, when I tell you this show has so many twists and turns, it's a roller coaster ride. It does not stop until the credits at the end of the first season ends, and then you're left wanting more. And we're going to get more because they have renewed for season 2.
So I'm up to like episode 5. I think I finished 5. I know I finished 4. I'm pretty sure I finished 5. But up to 4, it's a pretty solid series as far as I'm concerned. I would encourage individuals to watch, but I know you're going to go step by step.
Zach, when you saw the show take place in DC, okay, and you saw the mother die in episode 1, flashback to a year ago, it was I think January at 1:27 p.m. Mother is killed. Did you go, this is going to be one of those poor representation shows where it was all about doom and trauma, and that's the point of this show?
No, that's actually not where my mind went. I felt like it was going to be one of those stereotypical shows where we have this stoic guy who can't feel his feelings and his wife got fridged, and we're going to be dealing with that. And it is a little bit of that, but it's a lot more than that. That's what I was more worried about. The fact that they were fridging the mom and the wife to give him motivation. And it's a little bit more nuanced than just fridging her just so he can be a badass.
I have never heard that term before. Fridging somebody. I'm gonna start using that.
Kyle Rayner's woman.
It's a comic book term. Kyle Rayner, the Green Lantern's wife or girlfriend, was chopped up and put into a fridge. And that was to motivate him to go after the bad guy. So ever since then, anytime someone's protagonist partner dies, call it fridging. It's most of the time it's women.
I think Gail Simone created the term.
Oh wow! You know what? Wasn't that part of the identity crisis storyline?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's coming back to me. That is coming back to me. Yeah. Shout out to Gail Simone.
It also dealt with what Torian, you unmuted. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I didn't say anything.
It also dealt with like after you lose your wife, how long does it take for you to get back on the dating scene? We're all men, we're all attracted to women still. It's been over a year since he's gone on a real true date, and the one woman that fancies him is someone who he has a history with. He went to the high school dance with her as she wore the green dress. Like, he knows her, and they have something to pick up on. It's not just starting a blaze anew. And I think that's a smooth way to get yourself back in the dating scene. Is 1 year long enough? I think so.
Everybody's is different.
You also got to think too, and this is something I was saying when I was talking about the show on other panels, is that he didn't lose his wife to a natural cause or a disease. She was killed. So it takes longer to recover from that. That's why I liked how in the show, when you felt like he was trying to open up to Elle and she was trying to receive, it back, it was hard for him to go all the way because he just couldn't do it. I mean, Pete, he's with this woman he's trying to like really, really let himself be vulnerable with, and he still has his ring on. He has not taken his wedding ring off. It's still on. So he still has an attachment to his wife.
That ring gotta come
Off of that, he's still, every conversation they have, he brings her up. Every time he talks to her, he brings her up in everything he does. Like, he can't, when he was talking about a piece of me, like, he lost a piece of himself that gave him safety and peace with that anger that he has. And he's trying to figure it out. And now this new Mel girl's trying to like fit herself in there. And he not realizing that she's just a safe space because he's been there before. I don't think he's ever going to get to a point where he's like, yo, you're my girl. I know that sounds bad, but it's only been a year. Like, and you're a cop and it's a murder mystery thing. Like, he's trying to find the murder. If they would have found the murder, I think he would have been a little bit better off. But the fact that he didn't find the murder, the scarf was missing, and now it's just too much for him to be like, yeah, now you're my new woman. You're replacing that piece of us.
And no wonder they didn't find. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was just gonna say, I've never been married. I've had, a couple of long-term relationships, but never in a situation where somebody who I genuinely cared for died, especially in such a violent manner. I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, or anything of that nature, but I personally thought that a year after your wife was brutally murdered and she died in your arms, that a year may be kind of quick. That's just me. I think that he's jumping into things way, way, way too quickly. If he wants to go out with somebody, get him some hoo-ha or whatever, that's understandable. We all have needs. I get that. But it's clear
but not
that
the emotion part. You're saying satisfy your morning wood, that's normal, but then don't get into the life of romance.
I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying that I find it somewhat suspect that he would be ready to do that after just 12 months when the mother of your child, because it's different if you're just out there, doing whatever, have kids, blah, blah, blah. But you have committed yourself to this woman for at least 12 years because the son is probably like what, 11, 12 years old. You got to figure that he's been with her between 13 and 15 years.
And I figure the son is not a bastard son.
Correct. He's not a bastard. He was raised in a 2-parent household, accomplished parents, and your mom is, your wife is now gone, and you're just ready to jump back into a relationship in 12 months. Everybody is different. I get that. But that to me seems a tad too quick because this Elle chick, she's not just the way I view her, she's not just some, bed woman. That's the type of woman that you put a ring on, that you lock down. I think that it's too early, personally, for him to try to lock her down. If he got with some hood rat to do some things, okay, I get it. That makes sense. But her, not so much.
Okay, let's talk about another woman. And Torian, if you know the spoilers of Chief Anderson, because I suspect that she's a terrible chief, okay? Was it an accidental overdose or was it a suicide? I'm going, okay, I know why your wife's death was handled the way it was handled and scarves were missing during, and like, I know how this woman who was in charge of this police state, she's the chief of the DC police. I know how she's corrupt. I hate her already, and I'm sure by episode 8, I'll learn that she is down with the stalker.
Wait, hold up, chill. You haven't watched the whole season yet?
No, I've only watched 4 episodes.
So
Yeah,
wait a
so
minute.
this
I'm the
stream.
only. I'm the only one on here that watched the whole season. That man, listen, y'all have no idea what y'all in store for once y'all get past episode 4.
Okay, please, no spoilers. I'm up to 5.
I promise you, I'm not going to spoil it, but
Okay.
I'm telling you, when you get, by the time you get to the end, you are probably going to be sitting back in your chair, just thinking to yourself, how in the world did they pull this off? What did I just watch? Like,
Really?
Like, really? Like, oh, it's killing me that y'all haven't seen it yet. I just watched y'all are not. I'm telling you,
To piggyback off of Chill,
y'all are not going to
this
see
woman.
the ending coming.
Wait,
Y'all are
you
not
hate
going to see the ending coming.
You hate the chief of police?
Oh, the moment she stepped in the room, I was like, I'm sick of her already. How she's judgmental, how she's trying to speed everything up, and the thing is, like, you know, I have family that's police, and they talk about certain people who are their bosses, and there's people really like this, you know, just using the stereotypes, trying to rush it up to get her reputation good. It was sickening, and then to use Cross as the poster boy and all that, and he was just like, no, I love that, because a lot of shows we watch where there's a black cop, they won't push back on that. They'll gladly go up there and give the speech. So I was happy that he was able to push back on that too. But yeah, I'm already sick of her. I only watched 2 episodes.
Oh yeah, I can understand that. She definitely has an agenda. When I by the time I got to episode 2, I said she definitely has an agenda on her side. And then by the time we got to the end, I saw what the agenda was.
So can I say something though? Going back to episode 1, and we've not discussed this. This is, you know, before I want to say the credits even roll, where Alex is interviewing a suspect of another crime of a murder.
Mhm.
And this person that he's interviewing is clearly a racist. That was one of the funniest scenes that I've ever seen in a show that was not a comedy ever.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know, Chill, you have that, you know, specifically what I'm talking about. But the way he thumped him in the shoulder.
Goes without saying, right?
Get your dick out of my fucking face.
So I had to watch that scene. I literally watched that scene like 3 times. The first 2 times I was watching it on an airplane because I downloaded it to my tablet or whatever, and that's how I watched the first 4 episodes. I watched that one part like 3 times. I'm like, did he just do what I think he did? Yeah, he did. And it was pretty damn funny.
And I think it was funny because like he felt like he had the upper hand with the first cop because he knew what he wanted to do was to get under his skin, and which he did because when I saw that scene with the first cop, and I think his name was Akbar or something like that. It reminded me of Batman and the Joker in the Dark Knight when he snatched him across the table. Like that's what I saw in that scene. And he was like, okay, we can't use him because he got under his skin, so that's not going to work. Let's send Alex Cross in there because he knows how to get in his head, which he did. So the guy thought he could just throw out different slurs and things like that. He was like, oh, that's too easy because I've dealt with your type before, but I know what I can do about you. And I know the one thing that'll really bother you. Let me just have a, excuse my vulgar language, dick measuring contest, which I know you will lose. And that man's face got more tighter than a woman at a Botox convention.
He thumped him with it. If somebody thumped you with their dick, you gotta get tight.
And it's crazy because the people whoever did that was so petty because they added the sound effect like you could hear.
So the detective skills of Alex Cross was able to figure out, well, this guy converted Amir. Amir was he's a Muslim now, and he goes, he doesn't eat pork. Why would he put pork inside of him? And we would learn later on that this is because the killer needs to make you match the person that
he's having you disguised as, all the way down to the last meal.
The last meal. That was a great touch on it. I like Alex figuring that out and going something suspicious here. Now we didn't need that to figure out like something was fishy here. But he has like his toes are in the community and he knows who these people are. So he knows like that's not just like a drug overdose for no reason. Like he wouldn't cut his hair on all of his locks. You know, that's just not unreasonable. That's not doesn't make sense. And our little friend Chief Anderson is like, well, that's the thing, you know, these drug users, they do crazy things all the time and they relapse. All right, cool. Not happening.
Exactly, and that's the stuff I was talking about. I said she's doing the thing. She's doing the exact thing right there. Like I said, she has an agenda. She wants it to be an open and shut thing. That way, you don't have to go and investigate it further. And like I said, as you continue to watch on, you'll see by the end what her agenda was, and be like, oh, that's why she was doing it.
I think I have
So
an
funny
idea.
because she has this agenda of closing it off, but it just kept getting worse and worse in the first 2 episodes. Like she's like, let's just get this wrapped up, and then more people just kept dying and more evidence of things. It was like more she was trying to close it up, the worse it was getting. And that was the part that made me laugh out loud.
Now, Zach, give me your interpretation of this scene, because what exactly she is doing, putting some black faces on the screen and having Alex and John be the faces of this case, was called out by them at the dinner table from dude from Colorado.
Sounds mighty progressive of you, Alex. The problem is, one of these days you're gonna find yourself lined up against some activists, protesting peacefully, fighting for justice for people that look just like you. And your boss is gonna order you to get those niggas. And even if you don't want to, you'll do it. Like a good little boy. Maybe it's already happened.
I think he's right. Thank you very much for that. I think this guy was telling the truth. Like, that exactly what happened. That's how they use you. He's sitting at the table and he's got no like filter. Zach, he was right, wasn't he, Mr. My Family Law Enforcement?
Yeah, it's so funny because somebody just said it in the chat talking about how like it was a good representation of how Black people talk about the cops, and especially Black people being cops, and how that causes issues. You're working for the people who's helping to oppress us, and there's a constant conversation. There's documentaries about it. So this was like a little piece of the iceberg to like get that conversation going in like a positive way at first. It's just unfortunately Cross, he had no retort because he knows it's true. And then we actually even get to see it because when he goes to get Tavio, what is he pushing him through? He's pushing him through a crowd of protesters now, doing the exact thing that this guy said he was going to do that he got mad at.
Making me hate Alex Cross. He's an imperfect character. This will, yeah. I'm in episode 4 now where I'm all with him, but there's moments where where he does some stuff. I'll skip ahead a couple episodes, spoilers. Well, when that Zach, mute yourself for a second. The scene where or not mute yourself, I should say pull out your earphones, I should have said. But the scene where he goes, you're a superhero. That scene was the one. Okay, Zach, you can come back.
But one thing that Alex did get him on why at that scene was when he called him out about where he lived. One thing Alex did have up on him is the fact that Alex did still live amongst the people, even though he was a cop. Meanwhile, the guy was grandstanding. He lived in a majority white neighborhood. So he's saying, how can you say all that about me? And you don't even live amongst the people that you're supposed to be championing for. He couldn't say nothing after that. I just feel bad. I feel bad for the poor China, though. I mean, you jacked them up and broke the woman's China. I think that was an antique from like her grandmother. I was like, I heard that shout. I was like, oh no, not the antique.
Yeah. That was
from a great grandmother too.
Great grandmother, yeah.
Yeah, I wish Cross Pat was level-headed enough to argue back with him, because he easily could have been like, "You're talking about all this, but you're over 4 places away, and are you donating to these causes? Are you helping these people at all? No. So how are you going to judge me, who's in the neighborhood, trying to shift the balance a little bit? Yeah, it's not perfect, but Cross could have just been like, yo, open shut case. This was an overdose. But he's actually doing the work. He also helped this guy who got killed out in court. So Cross should have brought all that stuff up, but he has his anger issues that he needs to get fixed, that he can't even do that.
I can look at it like I'd rather have a cop like Alex Cross, John Sampson on the force, because them taking that spot means that there's not going to be, that shitty cop, but they're still cops. So it's hard to, it's really hard.
And as y'all keep watching, it's actually gonna be a full circle moment coming back to that conversation at that dinner table. I won't spoil it, but something happens and it's gonna be a full circle moment. And you'll be looking and you say to yourself, oh wow, that's crazy.
Right. So going back to what you were just saying, Chill, about the guy, he's still a cop, whatever. So, if anybody has, seen me on Black Comic Lords or on Chill's channel periodically, you would know at this point that I'm an attorney. I'm a criminal defense attorney right now. But prior to doing this, I was a prosecutor. And that's the mindset that I have, is that I know that people look at prosecutors as being against Black folks or whatever the case may be. And they may have looked at the Democratic nominee for president this last go around as the man, so to speak, because she was a former prosecutor. But do you want to leave the fate of everybody, specifically Black folks, in the hands of just white folks? Or do you want Black folks in those positions who may very well empathize and understand the situation and circumstances that you come from, and may very well have empathy for you and your plight, and may make recommendations based on their understanding and their worldview, versus just seeing another N word and saying, okay, yeah, you're a criminal, you need to go to prison for life, without trying to understand who you are, what you've been through, or have any type of sympathy. So I do understand, that point that you were making, Chill, in reference to that in regards to cops. It's just a matter of whether or not that individual has bought into the system and internalized it, or have kept their true sense of self and are more interested in performing justice and just not trying to rack up numbers as far as arrests and convictions.
Got it. Let's go to the next major character on this show. Her name is going to pop up when I move my mouse. It says Kayla Craig. So Kayla, she's the one going, listen, I got the phone that you guys are looking for. It was purchased at a car wash. This is the burner phone. You got to understand that the people who are associated with Tavio and with Aaron use this phone. All right. That's the mystery.
Also, Chuck, can you pull that picture back up? Because I just noticed something that I didn't even see, maybe because I didn't have the captions on when I was watching it. It says purchase at a car wash in Hillcrest Heights. In case y'all don't know, I live in the DMV area. I know exactly where Hillcrest Heights is. As a matter of fact, I could walk there.
What is Hillcrest Heights? Tell us what that is.
Hillcrest Heights is a city in Maryland.
Okay.
And it's like, I know exactly where that is. And that's one thing I loved about the show, is because it represented this area pretty well, especially DC. I can't tell you how many times they plug Ben's Chili Bowl in every episode. And if y'all don't know, Ben's Chili Bowl is a staple in DC. It is a Black-owned establishment. It got started back around maybe a little bit before the civil rights movement, and it's been handed down from generation to generation, and it's always been Black-owned. It's never been in the hands of anybody else, and still is to this day. It's actually on Georgia Avenue, not far from Howard University.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So when I was looking at the different elements they had there, like you saw the White House, the Capitol. They had Freedom Plaza there. They had go-go bands, and go-go is a very popular music art form in DC. I don't know if y'all heard of this artist named Chuck Brown, but he is like the godfather of go-go. Like, he's like the one that pioneered it way back in the day to where it is now. As a matter of fact, I know y'all know the artist A. Marie, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The song One Thing that she did, that's nothing but a go-go sound mixed with an R&B type of song. Like, when you listen to it, it sounds like someone's hitting on trash cans or something. That's a go-go sound. That's literally what it is. But yeah, so I really appreciate them representing this area very well. I think they shot some stuff in maybe Philly, because I could tell, I can look at them row houses. I know them row houses. You're either going to be in Philly or Baltimore.
Toronto.
Right. It's funny that you say that, because I live in Atlanta, and a lot of productions, especially Marvel productions, are down here in Atlanta nowadays. So whenever I see something I recognize, I'm like, oh, I know exactly where that is. So I understand the sense of pride or recognition, like, when something pops up on screen that that other people may not.
The series was filmed in Ontario, Canada, with Hamilton, Ontario, and surrounding areas.
Oh, wow.
But not those scenes at the plaza, not those scenes at the specific establishments. I'm sure they shot those on site.
Right.
Oh yeah, I can tell they shot, like, when they was at Freedom Plaza, that was definitely there. Like, I could tell that was there.
So here we go. Tavio, we got to talk about something. About what? Amir's last phone call. And he ran so far away.
Don't do that.
He ran.
He did.
He was guilty. He was like, damn, this is it. I want to know what made Tavio go crooked. What was it? We didn't find out, because as he gets caught, and he took a woman as a hostage, which was terrible. I hated seeing that. As he gets caught, he's being walked out and sniped by the guy who looked like Dre Mack, Bobby Trey.
Bobby Trey.
So let me just say this: having doing what I do in criminal defense and being involved in criminal law for 25 years, I've learned that people are not always at their best. They don't always make sound, intelligent decisions. And it was clear that he did not make a sound, intelligent decision. There was no reason for him to run whatsoever. He was not under arrest. He had absolutely no obligation whatsoever to talk to the police. And as an aside, if you guys out there who are listening, watching now, watching in the future, if the police ever want to talk to you, you are under no obligation to talk to them whatsoever here in America. I don't know about Canada, but you are under no obligation to talk to them. You're definitely not under any obligation to talk to them without a lawyer being present. So the fact that he ran, to me, made no sense from a legal perspective, but I understand from his perspective, he's thinking, okay, the cops are out to get me. I need to extricate myself from this situation. Until a certain point where he actually committed a crime, he hadn't done anything wrong. So had they taken him in and said, hey, I want a lawyer, everything would have been fine, but he did what he did as he was running. He got to the apartment. Chill just mentioned he took a woman hostage. He committed, at that point, like 3 serious violent felonies. Prior to that, he did nothing.
That's probably the only part of the show where I was like, so I feel like the show is written really well. That was the only part of the show I was like, what? Like, I feel like there was like, we need some action here because the show is slow and we need to inject some energy in here, because that didn't make any sense to me. Even if you don't know all your rights, running away, it does nothing. Where are you going to go? Everyone knows your face.
And I actually do agree with you. Like, they needed some action there, but then it led to him getting popped. So now it's like, okay, this was not like a random kill. Like, this was like a professional hit. So
it was an assassination.
So that means now we know he was taken out for a reason. Now we have to find out what that reasoning is. And of course, going into episode 2, we find out why that was.
Yeah. So his girlfriend, the one who took the phone, she reminds me of Brenda from Snowfall. Every time I saw her, that's what I thought about.
Alex had his home invaded. Alex had suspicions. And in episode 2, it begins with him waking up. He hears a creak. He goes downstairs, and it's just his daughter getting a drink. I'm sorry, Daddy. I was thirsty. Zach, take me to the moment how you felt when you saw this one here.
Yeah, I when I heard the noise, he got the gun. I was like, it's either gonna be his son or his daughter in there. I just hope they don't go the extra mile and make him shoot. That's the only thing I was worried about. But I was like, I don't know how grimy this show is gonna be. But I understand his mindset. Like, someone's in my house and it's tied into my wife's murder. This is getting serious. My kids are in here, and my mom, who's defenseless, is in here. I don't know how far this person is gonna go. So I got what he was doing, but also is like, from everybody else, it looks like you're crazy. You just pulled a gun on your little kid.
To the kid, she knows nothing. I don't want to traumatize this kid by sensationalizing the moment that was. All I needed to do was go, oh, sorry, Tony, I thought that was somebody else, and put the gun down and everything's normal, and she won't think of it. But when you revisit it, and then the next morning, sorry, honey, I want to apologize for yesterday, and you keep reminding her about it, then you're making it more bigger than it would have been in her head. She's like, what, 7 years old? Maybe it's just, oh, that's a thing that people do, when they hear a noise, they come and point a gun at you, and then when they find out it's not actually a crime or a threat, they put the gun down. But he kept on bringing it up, and I'm thinking, no, you're doing such a good job, because he didn't bring awareness to the scarf when he saw his son was wearing the scarf. He didn't, freak out right in front of him or anything. I'm not even sure he told him that that's what your mom was wearing. everything he tried to do was on the DL until we get to further episodes where things had to be, talked about.
Yeah, and the thing with the scarf was, remember when he was with his wife, she had the scarf on, but when he found her, it was gone. So he's sitting there like, how did you get the scarf? Like someone got that scarf and put it back in the house, and then he was wearing it. So now it's like, how, okay, who got the scarf? It's clearly someone who was attached to my wife's murder, but we don't know who it is. And remember, it was over a year ago when it happened. So this person was holding on to it for over a year.
Yeah.
I do like his representation as a father, though. I do like that he apologizes. A lot of TV shows in Black culture, like parents will do things that even though they're wrong, they won't apologize for it. So I like that he had those conversations with his daughter and his son about screaming or getting aggressive because of things, and then telling them like, it's not your fault. I'm dealing with adult stuff. I'm not going to go into details what it is, but it's adult stuff, and I apologize that I took that on you. I do think that was really good.
Dating and dating apps are adult stuff too. And our boy Ed Ramsey gets a little bit more screen time here. We're wondering, what the hell does he really have to do with the show? He's got to be the guilty. He's got to be the killer, right? He's got to be the fanboy.
I was on to him immediately. Like he just had a look to him that just, he looks guilty. Whatever he did, he's guilty.
You know who he looks like? He looks like an adult version of Johnny Quest. That's something that I put out on my Twitter. When you look at him and look at Johnny Quest, he looks like an adult Johnny Quest.
Tell me about this establishment where they got banana pudding.
Oh, that's Ben's Chili Bowl. That's what I was telling you about. That's the staple in DC. They have really good food.
Okay, I'm glad that they're and it's Black owned. I'm guessing. I hope
it is Black owned. It's been Black owned for like probably 60 plus years.
Somebody was thinking over at that production. So there's a new restaurant, or not a new restaurant,
and that was promotion for them. So I'm sure their business probably was skyrocketed after. And by the way, that's the original one. They have other ones, but that's the very first one.
So let me tell you, I've been to DC several times. I've never heard of Ben's Chili Bowl, but now that I know that that's actually a thing, the next time I go to DC, whenever that may be, I'm definitely going to be searching that specific place out.
Hey, I'll have what Alex Cross was having. So in that scene, they were met by the detective, or not detective, but the journalist, right? Reporter. And you can see the relationship that the paper has with the police, and it's always like, hey, I'm breaking the story in 2 hours. Give me this, give me that. Like,
she reminds me of Gail Weathers. The reporter reminds me of Gail Weathers from Scream.
Oh, okay. I don't watch Scream. Wait, is that Courtney Cox' character?
Yeah, Courtney Cox' character, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because she was the same exact way, always looking to break a story, and she'll do anything to break that story. That's what this character kind of reminded me of. She like, look, you got this amount of time to get this to me, or I'm releasing this. And the thing is, she's very abrasive. This reporter is very abrasive and very aggressive, but she means well at the end of the day. And I think she only does that because she might have a soft spot for Alex Cross. But if it was anybody else, you like bump that. I'm putting this out there at this time, whether you like it or not.
So wait, are you saying that she wants to give Alex a little bit of,
No, I don't mean it. I don't mean it like that. I mean in the sense. I mean in the sense of she likes how he handles his work. She can tell that he actually he really wants to solve this thing, but at the same time, she knows she has deadlines to meet, and she has a bottom line too, which is to get those juicy stories out there so she can get paid. Because she's like, look, I live in DC. DC is expensive. I got bills.
Oh, I'm
if there's one thing I don't like,
listen, I'm sure she likes the way Alex handles his work.
Oh my god!
So Alex was the only cop there to notice that a phone was taken by the baby moms. That was ridiculous. I think every other detective should have noticed that. That's a flaw of this show. How could they all be there? And Alex goes, wait a minute.
Because most of those cops in there are surface level. A lot. Remember, not only was the chief thinking of the thing, saying it would just say it was an overdose. Some of the other ones were in there saying the same exact thing. He was one of the only ones that was saying no, it's deeper than just saying it's an overdose. An overdose, that's just like, that's just trying to clean it up without actually going further. And the thing is, he's a person that goes back and really digs and looks into things, because if he wasn't there, can you imagine how many cover-ups there would be?
Yeah, because they tried to cover up the Tavio death also, like it wasn't associated with it. Like this wasn't attack.
And that's what I also like about the show. That's some realism there, because in real life there is so many cover-ups with these departments. A lot of them.
A lot of people watch the news and they go, "Oh, he was known to the police. Okay, cool." And then they turn off whether or not they care about this person who died.
And then he was a black man at that too. So that just throw that in the pile. Because
the show does a good job of him saying like, "Hey, this is how you do detective work." He said that multiple times to them, because they're criticizing him for going the extra step.
And also going back to about the thing about him with the Amir character, and him being a black man and everything like that, it also goes into, I'm not going to spoil this, but when you keep watching, they bring something up with another character that's going to be central to the story, and saying, see, if this person was this, then they would have not cared as much. I hope y'all are putting a piece together what I'm saying. If this person was this, they wouldn't have cared about them as much.
So you're gonna make me watch the rest of the damn episodes tonight?
Yes, basically. Basically. Okay. And then it makes sense.
Okay. So show continues. I was really terrified that she would have been snatched at this moment, right? When she went to the back. But she was okay. She was just hearing a voice.
And I liked her character. I said she reminds me of every black grandmother you can think of, that's just so wholesome and loving and look like she can make a mean sweet potato pie.
She got a good voice.
So here's what I don't understand. That's Alex's grandmother, correct?
Yeah, this is grandmother. No, this is grandmother. No, this is grandmother. That's the kid's that's his grandmother and the kid's great grandmother.
Got you.
Because remember that her nickname is Nana Mama.
Got you. And so the story that was told at the birthday party, despite the name change, was actually true. Right? For those who haven't seen past episode 4, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But this is for Taryn or Tareen. Mm-hmm. So what happened at the birthday party, the story that somebody told, that was a true reflection of what happened with somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. You guys got to get to at least episode 6 to understand what I'm talking about. I know Zach is like, what? WTF. So, but yeah, you're right. Episode 6, Chill, you're up to episode 4. Episode 5, I think, is when that happens. Is where, because I think that's where I left off.
Yeah. Episode. Let's just say episode 5. We ain't gonna say nothing past episode 5.
Right.
Let's stick to episode 2. Zach, you saw the relationship being formed with this Ed Ramsey dude and the woman. Did you think that it was genuine, or did you always know he was trying to set her up? Shannon Whitney.
Always set her up.
I knew from the jump that he was setting her up. This was what's good about this being a mystery show, is that we saw the end result of where this is going to lead, because we saw what happens with the main black guy that we're trying to solve right now. And what the show is doing is showing you how he gets it from the beginning. And I think that's genius. So I knew from the beginning, like, she was screwed, because they showed the serial killer that he's worried about and her face. And I was like, oh yeah, he's coming for her. I don't know if he's the exact serial killer. He might be setting it up for another person. I don't know how many people are involved, because I'm only on episode 2.
Keep watching.
But it seems like this is running deep, and I want to know why they're doing this. That's another thing too.
Oh! It's gonna explain.
Stop.
We'll call him the collector. He's the one who collects these women. He puts he analyzes you. Oh, you're a germaphobe, eh? Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Fentanyl in the hand sanitizer. I didn't know fentanyls could do that.
What's that?
I thought you had to ingest it. If fentanyl touches your skin, it'll.
If fentanyl gets on your skin, it can get into your bloodstream. It's very potent. That's why when they handle it, they have to wear. Sometimes they got a double glove up because one glove might not be enough if they have to physically touch it, and they have to wear a mask. And sometimes they have to wear a whole hazmat suit in some cases, just in case. Fentanyl is very, very potent.
What is the high that it gives you?
Oh shoot, that thing will have you feeling like a zombie after
So
just touching it. After touching it, you can OD.
You were saying, Mark, basically what?
I was joking. I done had some whiskey. Don't mind me.
Okay.
And one thing I also liked about this is that they didn't waste time getting to the villain of the show, because sometimes they can drag it out multiple episodes before you actually get to the villain. They wasted no time, and I think the audience watching, when we was looking at it, well, I can speak for myself. I said, this is the antagonist. I said it immediately. I said, this is the antagonist right here. He has villain written all over him because of the way he moves, the way he talks. He tries to come off as this overly good guy. And I said, this guy has a hidden agenda. I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling that by the time we find out, this guy is going to be off the chain.
So Tareen.
Indeed was.
Hold on a second, chill. Time out. Is it Torin or Tareen? Torian. So based on what we know, and you've seen the whole series, I have not. I'm up to episode 5. Would you have preferred that they kept the main villain hidden, or do you like how they have developed who the villain is?
Well, I'll put it like this. Even though they revealed the villain very early on, he gets developed as the story progresses. So it's like they're double dipping. So it's like, now we can see that he's definitely the villain, but now we're going to see why he's doing it. And what I like about it is when you see what he's doing, he's being developed as it's going on. So it's like they're doing two things in one instead of doing one thing at a time.
Okay, so by episode 3, I think we know who the villain is.
Yes.
I kind of would have liked, as a person who watches a lot of TV, who watches a lot of movies, I think I would have liked to try to figure out who the villain is until the very end. Even though I know who he is now, and I know that at some point Alex is going to figure it out and probably, capture him or whatever he's going to do.
Probably. Yeah.
I would have preferred that mystery for a while longer, personally.
Well, I'm going to put it like this. By the time you finish this season, you're going to be glad they did it in the way that they did, because they slipped something in there let me put it like this without going all the way.
No spoilers.
There's something that happens that you don't think about again until you get to around episode 7. But it happens early on. But the thing is, the way that they do it, you forget about it because your main focus
Okay,
is
you
on
said
Ed
enough.
Ramsey.
I got it. Understood. It's something that's going to pop back up. I don't want to linger on it. It's probably this next scene right here where the people go, "You're a fake ass cop," as he's leaving the interview. Now, all he got from the kid was that, we're going to ride on the white horsey, and he knows the general area. He knows where the white horses are that you can like ride on, those things on the ground in the playgrounds. And he was able to use that to help piece together the motel where his mom was staying at.
This was where I was saying, okay, when we talking about moments that I didn't like this. What was the baby mama doing? I'm like, there was so many things she could have done to avoid her demise. I mean, there was so many things that she could have done. I mean, you have the phone. One thing I said is, we live in the age of social media. You could have easily put that out there on the internet. on social media or something like that. I don't know if she was trying to play hero or whatever the case may be. And also remember, she had the power tool on her as well. She leaves the motel and you don't take it with you. What?
And my man Bobby Trey was next door, just having
a party, literally having a party by himself. That part threw me for a loop. That part threw me for a loop. I mean, this man was having a whole Hollywood party by himself, up in there wearing them weird looking underwear and dancing all over the bed and jumping all over the place.
I can't show too much of this, but yes, get on his level, everyone. Level.
I was looking at the thing. I was like,
man, having a solo Diddy party.
Because I was looking at him like bouncing off the bed. I was like, I hope he didn't hit his head on the ceiling because that ceiling was kind of low.
So she's knocking over, like, hey, cut that out. Yeah, he did cut it out eventually. Get it?
Yeah.
So yeah, she dies. Returning to the sun, little Tavi was so emotional. Okay. This does happen in episode 2. So this is what I was talking about when I said, Zach, take out your headphones. I guess it happened in 2, not 3. When this happened and he tells the kid, it's going to be a rough day. It's not going to get any better. It's going to be really tough. Mark, you're muted. Go ahead and talk unmute.
That wasn't episode 2, was it? When he said you're going to have a bad day, that was later on, like in episode 3.
2.
No, that was 2. That was at the end of the episode when the kid was sitting on the step.
Yeah.
He's sitting on the step.
So my problem was, in your pursuit of this voicemail that was sent and hearing it out, you were going to a kid and tricking him. Hey, let me play that game. I know the code, the secret code you can unlock. It wasn't great. It was shit. It wasn't something you do. You need to talk to the parents. You need to talk to the guardians. You can't do that. That was very cop of him. I don't care if his intentions were good. I didn't like it. It didn't sit well with me. Even though the I am the superhero scene, which was emotional because this is going to be a terrible day for the kid. Of course, his life just changed. Both parents are gone really quickly without any
within 30 hours of each other.
Yeah, and now, yeah, I liked that they. No, I didn't like seeing it. Here's the thing, guys. We get too much of death and trauma that when I see it, I go, damn, it's happening again. But I also want to appreciate that they didn't just like it was a news story and that was that. They actually focused on it. Like, guys, listen, when this happens, there is a son who lost both his parents, and let's empathize with him rather than going, this is a statistical statistic, period.
But I think that goes along with
Which
the
I
realism.
thought they were going to...
Go Torian.
No, I was saying but I said, even though I see what you're saying, in reality, that's actually what it's like. And they captured that well because, like I said, this takes place in DC. This happens more often than not. Like a lot, unfortunately, especially back in the day. Listen, y'all should have seen DC back in the day. If this was DC 30 years ago, like back in the 90s, maybe even the early 2000s, before pre-gentrification, it was a reason DC was called Chocolate City. A lot of stuff happened in DC that I won't speak on, but if they could have did a whole documentary on DC from say the late 80s to 1999, it would blow your mind.
And Zach?
Not gonna lie, I don't remember what I was gonna say. I was just focused on what he was saying.
I'm waiting for this ad to stop playing on the side. So as soon as it does, I'll talk about the
Amazon got so many freaking ads, it's ridiculous.
And it's fine if it's a 30-second ad, but this is really long.
They be having 3 1-minute ads. I'm like, 3 1-minute ads? Are you serious?
Is there a way to do a version where you pay more and you get no ads?
Yeah, if you pay more, you get no ads. Like almost like premium with YouTube.
Yeah, Netflix has it too, and I have the Netflix where you don't pay for ads. So that's the show. That was episode 2. Good show, good mystery, intelligent character. The protagonist is someone I want to stick around with and watch more. Pookie says
Oh,
he's
you
just
will.
spoilers. Yes, Pookie, we're spoiling episode 1 and 2, and next is episode 3. Zach, leave me on your impression and your prediction for episode 3.
So can I just interject this? A lot of folks have been writing on social media, specifically the Twitters, that they see Aldis Hodge as a potential T'Challa, aka Black Panther. But a couple of years ago, he was in my list of individuals who I could see as T'Challa. How do y'all think, objectively, he's been as an actor in this series? To me, he's been somewhat kind of. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's been somewhat kind of mid. I'm not saying he's the best actor that I've ever seen. I'm not saying he's the worst, but I don't know. I'm not saying he's.
When you get, I'm gonna put it like this: when you get to it's either 6 or 7. It's a very intense scene between him and John Sampson, and I think you might change your mind. In my opinion, it was a scene that they had together where when I tell you they were acting, I mean they were going at it to the point where I didn't even think that they were saying lines off of a script. I wouldn't be surprised if the director said, "Let y'all just have at it, like treat it as if y'all was really going at it." Like, and I said, "Whoa!" I said, if there's even an award that they can get, submit that scene right there.
Right. So let me just be clear about that. Before Aldis Hodge was cast as Hawkman in the Black Adam movie, he was on my list of actors, about 4 or 5 actors who I could see playing T'Challa, other than Chadwick Boseman. Because he's now played Hawkman, he's been excluded. But a lot of folks have said they're becoming familiar with him. They've seen this series, which is becoming very, very popular. A lot of people saying, "Hey, this is your T'Challa," blah blah blah. Damson Idris has been my number one actor to replace Chadwick Boseman since 2020. But in regards to
Mark,
Aldis,
this is not the recast T'Challa stream. We
I
do this so
understand
often on my
I
channel.
understand that. But in regards to Aldis as an actor, are you guys really? How are you guys feeling about Aldis as an actor? That's the question that I have.
I think he's a very solid actor. If you haven't seen the Brian Banks story, which is a true story, he played Brian Banks in there, and he absolutely. When I tell you, I don't cry in a lot of movies, but when I tell you, when that movie was over, I literally power walked out of that theater and went to my car and cried like a baby because his performance was so good, but the story was also so tragic at the same time.
So for those who don't know, Brian Banks, this is here in Georgia, a county over from me. A young Black man was accused of raping a white girl. They had consensual sex when they were in high school. She lied because her father found out that she was banging a Black dude, blah, blah, blah. Aldis Hodge, plays Brian Banks, who was a college football prospect. And I've not seen the movie yet, but I know the story from a legal perspective. So that's where we're coming from in regards to that.
Back to Zach. The question is, how do you predict season or episode 3 will go?
This is a slow burn series, so I know we're going to get a little bit more reveals. We'll see more of this potential serial killer. That would have seemed like him profiling her and kind of starting the transformation to whatever lady he's trying to transform her to. And I think on the cop side of things, I think it's going to get a little bit more intense because I think that chief is going to be like, all right, we got 3 bodies and the cops, we look like silly goose right now. So we need to wrap this up, and Aldis Hodge's character is going to push it even further. So I think that friction is going to keep going on. I think maybe the person who's stalking him is going to make another visit. If he's talking through the cameras, I think he's going to take another visit there, and then we're going to get a little bit more details about all the 3 different storylines going on. But yeah, I'm excited.
Zach, who's your favorite character thus far?
Aldis Hodge. He's I'm a big fan of him. Anytime I see him in a project, I get excited because I'm like, oh, I know he's going to come with a swagger that no one else is going to come on the thing is, and I think that he kind of pigeonholed into that kind of like swaggerific kind of character, and I would love to see him play different types of roles to show his range. But I think he's doing a great job with subtlety in this show. When people say certain things, the way his face lights up, you know exactly what he's thinking. Even like that first scene that we all thought was funny when the guy said the quote from whatever, the way he looked over, you know he noticed something. Or when the guy brought up his last meal was pork, the way his eyes rolled, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when they said they made this whole thing with his mom saying that he doesn't eat pork and how he noticed that and how all that stuff matters. I think he's not getting like super dramatic in this show, but I don't think that the role axes for it. So I think he's doing a great job as Alex Cross.
Cool. Bye now, because that's something I want to say that you're not ready to hear. Watch episode 3. Peace.
Peace.
He pays
Thanks for
attention
having
to
me on.
stuff, right? Just like in episode 3, when he pays attention. Get out of here. When he pays attention to the line about it's a brothel. That, okay, then there must be some underground secret passageway to get the woman out while no one's looking. And I love that. I love that he thought that way when it comes to getting the, you know, the warrant to go inside. And his way that he got the warrant in episode 3. First he tried to go to the judge. They said, no, this isn't going to work. It's not it. But because Chief Anderson said that drug use, he goes, oh, okay, well, this is suspected to house drugs in this, you know, in 42 Pine Street. They're suspected for drugs. I'm going to send a drug unit. And that was his way into the house. Genius. And he's so smooth with it. His intellect, every episode we get to hear or see something that we didn't all notice that Alex Cross was paying attention to.
Exactly.
3 episodes in a row of doing that.
That's why they called him.
So do you guys think that the way he handles his job, do you view him as an actual psychiatrist, psychologist? Because I quite honestly have not viewed him as such.
No, I see him as like a good cop, a really good detective, a thinker, but not, he's got this PhD in psychology guy.
Sure.
Did you hear that?
I heard you. I'm wondering what Turin thinks.
No, I had to mute myself because I was typing something.
So what do you think about Alex as a detective / somebody who has a PhD in, you know, psychology?
He's actually because actually I looked at, that's actually why I was looking it up. He's actually a doctor. It says Dr. Alex Cross is a specialist in forensic psychology.
Right.
So he does have a psychological background. That's why he's able to figure things out where a lot of people don't go that far. That's why they always call him.
So in the Morgan Freeman version of this character, I saw that more, the intellectual mental aspect of it. In regards to the Aldis Hodge version, I've not necessarily seen that. And in episode 5, which Chill has not seen yet, some stuff happened, and I'm like, right. So if you guys have watched up to episode 5 at this point, Aldis Hodge's character is obviously a somebody who has a degree in psychology, psychiatry, or whatever. There are things that happen with the main antagonist that I would not have viewed Aldis's character as have done because of his background and training. What do you? I don't know what you think about that, Torrin, but for me, it just didn't add up for me.
Are you talking? This is the birthday episode, right?
Correct. The birthday episode, yes.
So in comes this weapon. It says kill Alex Cross. We shot her shooting up some sort of drug. I'm not an expert. I'm gonna go with crack. No. Well, she was doing something. She was using, and the substance abuse user got clear orders. Let's skip over to the end of the episode where she's in the vicinity of Alex Cross, and she shoots at him. And the cuts to another scene. Oh my God, did he just die? Did the main character die in episode 3? No, he was fine. They were blanks.
Put a pin in that.
Chill. You may want to take your headphones out so you won't spoil anything. I'll give you a thumb. I'll give you the thumbs up. Okay, go ahead, Torn.
No, I was saying put a pin in that. That's all I was saying. Just put a pin in that because it's gonna be something that comes up later, much
Okay.
later.
So, but do you think what you've seen thus far that Alex has used his psychology degree to its fullest extent at this point, up to the birthday party?
I would say yes, because again, like it's like every time he even hears something, or he actually just like kind of like internalizes. I don't know what kind of memory bank he has, but that man got terabytes for the brain, where he can remember a lot of stuff. I don't know. It's like he stores everything. Like he can remember stuff that happened probably 2 weeks ago, and a lot of things can happen in 2 weeks, but he remembers a lot of things, and he remembers what people says. He like looks at how people move, their body language, all of that, and that goes back into him being a psychologist, because that's all something that is there that they tell you the signs to look out for when it comes to dealing with people.
Okay.
So to death do us part. That's the oath that you take. And here he is. He can't even enter the cemetery. Thankfully, John is always there. What a friend. What a great companion to have. Like that man just
Yeah, they're like brothers.
Yes.
They're brothers without the blood connection. Yes.
And something tells me they probably grew up together too. They probably knew each
No,
other before.
I think they mentioned that in the birthday episode. I think they mentioned that.
Okay. He's still going through it. We're seeing, and I remember hearing a scene where John said, "You've never been a cop who couldn't take off work, like you couldn't disassociate it, come home and live the civilian life, and then put on the cop work afterwards," which is interesting. As a YouTuber, I sort of have that because I'm a real person, and then I'm a guy who calls himself chillmonger to every one of you guys. I get it, and being able to take off the hat sometimes and putting the hat back on there's a skill to it. There's a level to it. You get it? Yeah. Next on the scene, next scene on this episode is when they go to see. We need more people so that other people can talk while you know what I mean? We go over.
He has her in the chair.
The dungeon.
And remember how he got her there, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The fentanyl?
Yep, with the hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's what I said about fentanyl being so potent. All you have to do is touch it. You don't have to ingest it.
Yeah.
I'm never touching anything anywhere. If I'm on a bus, if I'm on a public transportation, I have to worry about every single thing that I touch. Fentanyl? That's just a little bit of fentanyl? Wow.
And the thing is, he studied her because remember he was saying like, he saw her like constantly like using hand sanitizer, so he knows that she likes to like sanitize her hands a lot. So he says, how can I get her? Oh, I know. Let me put some of this, just a little bit of fentanyl in there, shake it up, let it dissolve and whatnot, and then I get her like that.
Picture perfect.
So the serial killer studies his targets. I'm not going to say who the serial killer is, but he studies who his targets are. He figures out certain things about them and tries to put them in a position of vulnerability that they may not automatically think about. If you as an individual are, traveling around, obviously you don't want to be traveling around at night by yourself, blah, blah, blah. But things that you don't think about. This guy has figured out certain things about you because he's brilliant. And I think Alex Cross even acknowledges the fact that the individual who is the serial killer is a very, very intelligent person. The serial killer thinks about things that you may not automatically think about that makes you vulnerable to him or her, to be vulnerable, to be victimized. And that's very, very important.
Okay. Take me to this neighborhood in the DMV where Bobby Trey was grabbing a bite, talking about how, what was he eating over here? The Soul Skate? What?
Yeah, he's at a seafood spot, and also that's another thing. Seafood is very popular here, and Maryland is known for its crabs.
Crabs, yes.
Like crab legs, cold crabs, blue crab, king crab legs, last king crab, all of that. That's what it's because it's a huge import of crabs. It's a huge import of crabs. That's where you're gonna get some of your best crabs.
Why does it come out of the ground like that? Like, why is it dug up? Well, it's like a dugout in baseball.
That looks like the old wharf. It used to be a wharf in DC. It's gentrified now. They still call it that, but it's like a lot of like upscale, like condos and penthouses and upscale restaurants. But it used to be a wharf in DC, and I can tell they were reenacting that with this. And it used to be a spot where you can go and get all your seafood, like fresh fish, fresh crabs, lobsters, all of that. Man, I'm telling you, you couldn't drive past the wharf without smelling that seafood.
Wait, so what episode was that? Because I have no independent recollection of that scene.
That was episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
That was episode 3.
I must have fell asleep because I have no independent recollection of that.
Yeah, that's one thing I noticed about the Bobby Trey character. They always have him surrounded around food for some reason. They always have him eating something at some capacity.
Yup. And he's psycho.
Oh yeah, he's unhinged for real.
Yeah, he tried to make a joke. I'm gonna come back with you. It's not gonna be one of those. And he gives him all the money, keeps the change.
I'm gonna be honest. I like that dude. I kind of like him. He cracks me up.
Bobby Trey.
Bobby Trey.
Yeah, he's kind of funny.
Yeah, the actor's doing a good job of going in and out of being. You don't know if he's being serious or if he's trying to be funny, and that's scary because you don't know what he's going to do in that moment. Like in that scene you just showed right there, he came off as serious, like, oh snap, he might actually come back for this guy. But he said, "I'm just playing with you." I was like, yeah, I wouldn't take that with a grain of salt. He might actually come. He might actually spin the block if he really wanted to.
Right. So what comments do you have, Chill?
Comments? Nothing. But this character, I want to move on back to Chief Anderson.
Yeah.
Enough. I've seen the report. This is, I think, when she finally starts coming around. And she's like, listen, I'll give you guys 48 hours. No, that's not the scene, actually. Wait, hold on, let me listen to it.
3 people murdered. You want to file this on another 3 black drug-related deaths? Then we're no better than those protesters outside say we are.
I don't answer to them, but you answer to me.
She's such a
Back to
Karen.
work, detective.
Notice what he didn't do and apologize. Notice what she didn't do either, and she didn't press it further because she knew she was at her limit with John, and he knew he was like, if you said one more thing, I would remind you that my loyalties to my skin color are more than my loyalties to this job and to you. I think that's where the quietness came from.
And I don't like that sister.
She was annoying. She was annoying as well because she didn't even back him up. Like she just went along with it.
I don't know what happened after episode 5 in regards to that sister who was next to the chief of police. But, what I've seen thus far, I'm not a fan of that specific character.
I wasn't either, especially like in that scene. And I think in another scene, like she really pissed me off.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of her.
Because it's almost like Alex and John are literally in this department, but they're like on their own. If they could have went rogue, they probably would have.
In a way, they kind of are rogue because they're not telling everyone about the thing that happened inside their own home, in Alex's own home, in a way that he's keeping that private. Mm-hmm. Later on, he's going to say, we're doing this alone. It's going to be you, me, and Detective somebody. I think it was the pregnant one, but he was like, we're the only ones on this case. Robert says, my great uncle was a tailor at Annapolis. When we visited him, he would make great crab cakes. He'd feed us all we could eat crab cakes. And before we left, they give us bags of frozen crab cake. Okay, I guess there's just a lot of fishing.
And Annapolis is the capital of Maryland. And like I told you, crab cakes are fire. Oh my God, they are so good. Just thinking about that got my stomach rumbling.
When the detectives pull up to the place, he's dyed her hair. He got her everything, and she sees the cameras, and they're underground. She screams out and cries for help, which is right about now. When he also cried for help, I was taken aback. I said, what a villain. This is where he just went from level... What?
I didn't mean to cut you off. You know what that reminded me of?
What?
Silence of the Lambs with Buffalo Bill.
Same thing happened.
Remember when? Yeah, it was a scene in that movie. Oh, listen, chill. If you like this show, you are gonna love Silence of the Lambs. And when I tell you that's a damn near perfect movie with Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster, you just need to watch it. Like, find a day and watch that movie. But
Hold
it's
on,
a scene.
hold. Time out. Chill. You've never seen Silence of the Lambs?
No, I've never seen it.
You
Oh
need
my
to
fucking
watch
God.
it.
You gotta watch
That's one of
Silence
the best movies ever
You gotta watch
made.
Silence of the Lambs. You've got to watch Silence of the Lambs.
And the reason, and just knowing that you'll watch it, I won't spoil it for you. But there's a scene with this character called Buffalo Bill that reminded me of this scene right here, where he's yelling back and forth with her, because something happens very similar in that movie. And I'm wondering, and I'm sitting there wondering to myself, did they pull from that? Did that scene inspire this scene? Because it was eerily similar.
Right. Silence of the Lambs came out like 1991, 92.
Yeah,
it was 91. It was nominated for several Oscars. It's about a serial killer. Chill. You have got to watch that movie.
And it's very, and I'm glad you mentioned the Oscars, because it's very rare that the Academy nominates horror movies. But that movie got nominated for like 7 of them and won like about 5 or 6. Like they almost swept, and it was very well deserved. So, and it was rare that a horror movie could actually win Oscars like that. Horror movies have been nominated before, but that was one of the first ones that I think that won Best Picture. So it set the bar. But yeah, chill. When you get an opportunity, as a matter of fact, when you're done watching this show, go watch Silence of the Lambs. It's really, really good.
Sure. Right. It'll mean more to me when I listen to Ice Cube's diss track when he mentioned that song, that title. He said it, didn't he? He said, "Now it's gonna be the Silence of the Lambs." He has a rhyme like that.
Yeah, that's what he was referencing.
So let me just say this: Silence of the Lambs was nominated for 5 Oscars. It won Best Picture, but Best Actor in a Leading Role in Anthony Hopkins, Best Actress in a Leading Role in Jodie Foster, Best Director in Jonathan Demme, Best Writing in the Screenplay, and it was nominated for Sound, Editing, and that's it for Oscars. But Silence of the Lambs is a brilliant psychological thriller. If you have not seen it, you've got to watch it.
I'll give it a chance, but just don't be mad at me for not watching a 1991 movie. Where like, what was I gonna do?
And that was 33.
I'm telling you, once you watch the movie, you're gonna be locked in. Trust me. I don't think I've come across any person who's seen that movie that said they didn't like it.
We go to this scene here. The flashback of this beautiful woman. I think I was DMing you, Mark, when I told you every time I see the flashback of he and his ex, I always rewind and I go, wow, like even the lighting that they use to show her. Let me keep going back here. This is her. Like, I would love to be married to Maria Cross. Look how nice she is, and
she's fine. Now, don't get me wrong, she's fine, and I find her very attractive. But to me personally,
you love
Elle is fine.
You love Elle. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you're getting good picks between the both of them. So
and Elle, I fan cast Elle, the character Elle, as Storm, aka Aurora Monroe. I could see her in that role.
Right. Mom used to teach the kids how to play piano. Mom was just and look, he's still thinking about her. He was talking to the radio dude about memories he used to have with her, and we get to see that flashback scenes of the mother. So if you're gonna do a show, fatherless or motherless characters, it's not a complete household. At least you're giving me flashbacks of when they were together, so I can envision the full complete family. And somebody woke is in that screenplay room. Somebody was like, "I'm not gonna further." Like, we'll have the theme, we'll have it of the one parent and one of the parents died. We will though show you what a complete family looks like by the time we get to episode 3, and you'll feel it missing. I remember I was watching Raising Dion, and they had scenes where Michael B. Jordan, who plays the father, in flashbacks, and it was like, good. You're not just showing me single mom. You're also showing me that in the flashbacks, this is it. So our brains can envision a full family, and that's important. I talk about it all the time. What did you guys take up with the radio? The dude with the low voice, the night storm.
The quiet storm. That was I like that. I thought that was a dope scene right there.
Yeah.
That was it. It really was, because like when he's having the conversation and like he's saying that he wants to uh request this song because it's me and my wife's anniversary, and then when he asked, "Was your wife with you right now?" He was like, "No," and then he had to tell a radio host, a complete stranger, that his wife passed. And what I liked is that the radio host did not just say, "Okay, well, we'll play this song for you." The radio host was having a whole conversation with him, almost like a therapy session. I like that.
Right.
I'm worried, like, why were you giving so much information? This guy's got cameras in your home. He may be listening to all of this. Everything you're telling about yourself and your personal emotions with your wife, he could use the radio station against you. Now, don't spoil it for episode 5, 6, 7, and 8. But I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
That's all I'm gonna tell you. Just keep watching.
So Alex's character had been drinking that particular night, because I want to say it was the anniversary of his wife's death or the anniversary of their marriage, or whatever the case may be. But when you are under the influence of certain things, you're not thinking about certain other things. So that's where the situation comes from. He had been drinking. He's thinking about the love that he has for his wife, and that's all he had in his mind. He's not thinking about the guy or person or persons who are out there monitoring him, trying to take him down or cause him harm. That's not what was in his mind.
And this was one of the few moments where Alex Cross wasn't being the detective or the psychologist. He was just being Alex Cross, the husband, the family man, and he was allowing himself to be vulnerable because he always seems to have a wall built up around him. But this was the time when he let his guard down.
Correct.
To say, have this moment.
Correct.
He was having a whole conversation. Like I said, with a complete stranger that he wouldn't even have with people that he knows.
Correct.
No, he did know him, though. He said we used to listen to you all the time. You have that relationship with, there's people right now who've been watching me for years who might actually tell me a little something if we were in a room,
When I say in the sense of knows, I'm talking about people he sees every day, like people he work with, his family and stuff. When he talks about listening to him, I mean that's a radio DJ, so a lot of people listen to him, but I mean he doesn't know him personally, actually met this DJ in person.
Sometimes it's easier to confess and open up to a stranger. You don't have to worry about the long term. I'm just talking to this guy, whatever.
Yeah.
Some people therapists for that reason. It's you clock in. I know I'm just your 1 hour of work, and then that's it. You're there to help me.
Right.
Hey, yo, Steve, the member for 17 months. You might have the longest membership, Steve. It feels like, I don't know if anyone else has gone 17 months.
I said the membership notifications let you just know how long people have been subscribed or just around your channel. 17 months. You talk about a year and how many in 5 months? That's crazy.
Thank you very much for the support, Steve. Next, we get this scene here. I got a heads up from the IA. You're in the clear on this one. She put her ass on the line to defend him. We found a note in her room. This is where he sees that. It says to kill Alex Cross. I like this officer, and her name on the side, it says Lieutenant Orsine Massey. Lieutenant Massey. Now she doesn't stand out, and I don't know her name, but I like her.
Yeah. So basically, Alex is just quote unquote a detective. She is his boss. Is what it boils down to.
Yeah, she's the one above him, and then Ferguson is the one above all.
Yeah.
Like that little reference, the one above all.
Wait, Chief Anderson?
Chief Anderson. Yeah. She's her boss.
Yes.
Yes, and she's completely utter trash. The one above all, sure. The amount of times Alex Cross shows up on the news, though, it's crazy. This is the episode.
And that's another thing I like about the show. That name just has so much power behind it. Imagine you come across someone named Alex Cross. That just sounds like someone you don't mess with.
No, the guy that you don't mess with unless you were literally the most corrupt guy in DC, who is Ed Ramsey. And we get to hear his backstory, a little bit of his backstory with this woman here, about how he would give her surgeries and make her super fertile, and how he's just a witch doctor.
He played this role really well.
You're talking about Johnny Quest. Yes. Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest.
Seeing him interact was something else. Seeing
him.
Those
who don't know,
every time he smiled, it gave me creep vibes. Every time he smiled.
So for those who don't know, I was first introduced to that actor who plays that character from the Blacklist that starred what's my man's name from the Blacklist? Help me out. Who's the star of the Blacklist? The series on NBC. I can't remember right
James
now.
Spader.
James Spader. So James Spader had a series on NBC called The Blacklist. That particular actor played on The Blacklist. That was my first introduction for him. Because he did so well on that series, he got his own NBC series where he was a doctor. I never watched that show myself, but he translated that performance into his own series into this particular role. And he's doing a phenomenal
He really is.
job.
He really
He's
is.
doing a very
He makes you believe that he's a creep, even though he tries his best to not come off like that.
Yes, he's doing a phenomenal job in this role.
Oh, did you peep the tattoo?
Yes, we did.
No spoilers.
I know we don't got to spoil it because I'll talk. The speculation of this and why it stopped the screen on his tattoo isn't going to be like a spoiler. I know there's something significant to it. I saw it also in the title card. That's got to mean something. And he was willing. He's not just some random homeowner. He's willing to cover up for Ed Ramsey. So there is something suspicious about this man. Torian, what were you going to say?
And also, did they? I can't remember in episode 1 or 2. Didn't they show a book?
Yeah, it was on the book.
That's tattoo is the logo on the book.
So the corrupt people.
Those who have not seen the show, or who've not seen the series, I know there are a couple of you out there because I've invited some of my people to watch your show, Chill. Understand that the logo on the tattoo is important.
It is.
That's all you need to know. I'm not going to say anything else other than that.
It would have to be because they emphasized it. Like they wouldn't emphasize it on that shot if it wasn't.
Correct.
And also notice too how red his hands were, like they were burned. When he caught the sledgehammer in his hands, look how red they look burned.
Okay. And the sledgehammer, it worked. He knocked on it. He found a way underground. And she was almost saved, okay? Bobby Trey isn't really on the same team as Ed Ramsey. They work together, but it doesn't feel like they are, I don't know, doing it for the same.
He definitely has a personal agenda.
Ed Ramsey's, I figured it out. I get it. I understand he used to have a thing for that woman that Alex Cross was given his professional opinion on how she couldn't be re-entered to society and she killed herself in jail. His Bobby Trey, I still don't know why he's doing what he's doing, because he is a law enforcement officer. He's
a dirty cop.
He was a cop.
Yeah, remember he was in the station on I think episode 1.
Yeah,
and so but he's basically a dirty cop
or a cop.
Okay,
I see what you did there.
Mark?
No spoilers.
No spoiling. No spoiling. We're on episode 3. They dig down. They find out what's going on inside there, and they're justified, right? A warrant doesn't expire, I guess, is what we learned here. And no, does it? They do. Do they expire after one trip, or is it a 24-hour warrant? Is it a week warrant? How do it work?
Depends on what it says. I don't know in this situation whether or not they would have had the legal justification to go in after the initial warrant was issued and they searched the house and found nothing. So I can't say, because this was in Illinois, I want to say. I don't know Illinois law. I don't know if they had the justification to go in after the fact when they didn't find anything initially.
Okay. What we did find was the book that Bobby Trey left behind as he was trying to
escape. That's one thing about that's the one thing about Bobby Trey. He's a hothead. Like he was ready to take this woman out, and Ed Ramsey's like, "No, I need her to complete my art."
And And she called him an artist one time during that interrogation, during that moment where she was being suffering from him. She is so good. Like as a hostage, she's doing a great job. She's quiet when she needs to be. Oh, she can see something through the crack. Someone's coming. She knows what to do and when to do it. Raised very well. Shout out to her parents. And they met on the dating app.
That is a good version of events. I'm enjoying that character.
Yeah. And like you said, now they got the book. And now when we flip through the book, now we understand what Ed Ramsey, or getting more of an understanding of what Ed Ramsey is trying to do.
Yep. He's making you look like a person he idolizes. And the aliases that he uses when he's buying a new phone, where he's at this supermarket, when he's getting a haircut here, he's such a fan of all of these prior killers, which is why it's so important that we don't say the names of these people. I want to elaborate, but I feel like I'd be doing exactly what I'm trying to say not to do, which is sensationalize. We can't provide attention to the next time someone does something horrific. We can't do Netflix series about it because Jeffrey Dahmer does not need this.
They're definitely going to do it. Trust and believe. You should see the next monster one they got is going to be on Ed Gein.
It inspires a new person to do it even better. And then it's about, oh, really? Like I get to go down in history? Well, I can't do that for what I did in school because I was a straight C student. Well, I can't do that in athletics because I'm not really good. How do I make a name for myself? Oh, I know. I'm just going to kill more people and I'm going to use this weapon. Like we don't need people thinking that way. But that's what this does every time we, the DC sniper. What if that inspires the South Carolina sniper?
Talk about a scary time. I experienced that. When that happened back in 2002, I was 13 years old. When they say when we was ducking and hiding behind things, we were ducking. You would have thought we was in Rambo, the way we was maneuvering back in 2002 when that was going on.
Yo, young ass. That's all. Bless your heart.
But he still got to watch the 1991 Silence of the Lamb. So,
yeah.
clearly not in 1991. It was much later.
You're better than me. We go to episode number 4 now. Anyone on episode 4 as I load it? Any thoughts?
Is this the birthday episode?
No, that was episode 5.
Okay. So
this is the one called Masks.
Oh, this is the first time we see him put on that mask, that fake rubber mask thing that he
yes.
Yeah, that's the first time we saw him wear that. And that was a creepy looking mask too.
Yes, it was.
And it's the flashback to the scene. I think I talked about it earlier, but it's the flashback to hear Alex Cross himself say, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe that I was saying that this woman couldn't re-enter society. You know, you're always supposed to have hope. I didn't like him when he was saying it too. I don't care what she did. We should be hopeful, especially when they're sitting right there. We should, like, maybe us saying it will make them, as they're sitting down there, go, oh, okay, well, I can pay for my sins.
It was a trial for that woman.
It was a trial for that woman.
Didn't they show, wasn't it this episode that they showed what she actually did?
With the baseball bat.
Yeah, with the bat. Yep. And it's crazy because they have that in the intro. I don't know if y'all have ever sat and watched the intro, but they actually have that part in the intro where she beats the person to death with the bat. It's part of the intro.
Yeah, I've never paid attention to that.
So he says that therapy is going to help her. Actually, let me play it.
Therapy this woman needs to keep the public safe. Well, therapy may help her, yes. But will she be able to re-enter society? No. In my professional opinion, she cannot be fixed.
I can't believe I said that shit.
He can't believe he said that. I can't either. Autumn says exactly. I think that's to the DC sniper, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like how he was able to figure out that was the moment that got him where it is. He's made an enemy. That woman is the lover of Ed Ramsey. We assume, we put that together.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting deeper. The plot thickens, and this is where I go, damn, I gotta stop watching and do a stream about it tomorrow. I want to be watching all the episodes, but I pace myself just for you people.
You people.
Yeah, you people. All you followers and subscribers. Hit the like button. That's episode 4.
You got it. She's the only one in that book without a twin. Yet. We have evidence that our killer currently has a captive.
And that means we're on the clock.
That's right. Now, we don't have a name, but 3 things are certain. She resembles Eileen Wuornos. He's going to make her an exact match. And he's going to kill her if we don't find her first.
They've got about a week, but look how that turned. Look how check out how it used to be. He was just a person sitting down taking orders, and now he's standing at the front. He's got the PowerPoint presentation. He's the one saying, "This is the there." Remember that time I was going, "Oh look, he changes her face. He changes Amir's face." Yeah, Aline is the next person, so find some woman who looks just like that, and the rest of the team gets to work. So they can, if they're looking, if they care, and if they're not being instructed by the chief, this is just a suicide. This is just a, you know what I mean? If they're actually paying attention, they can figure out and find photos and look at who's on what dating app, and it'll help Alex and John go to the parents, go to the dead Amir's family, and find out he's actually gay, and he's been on a E match or what it was called. The police can work if they want to.
Yeah, they can. So, for those who don't know, in this series, they're discussing several real life, in our real world, serial killers. Charlize Theron played the serial killer that they're talking about in a movie called Monster that came out in around 2002 or so, where Charlize Theron, won an Oscar for that portrayal.
Eileen Wuornos.
Arlene Wuornos, yes. That was a real life. Okay, so the movie came out in 2003, 21 years ago. Eileen Wuornos was a real life serial killer here in America. The serial killer in this series wants to recreate real life serial killers in average people. So he modifies them. And that's what he's in the process of doing in this series. I'm not going to say who the serial killer is. I'm not going to say who he captured or whatever the case may be. But that's what he's attempting to do. He's trying to modify this particular person into Eileen Wuornos, who is a real life person, who was a real life serial killer. And Alex Cross is trying to figure out, okay, what this person is doing, why they're doing it, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, exactly. And also notice too, as they was flipping through the book when they got it, Eileen is the only woman in the book. All the other previous one were all men. She's Correct. The only woman in the book.
In America, I want to say Eileen Wuornos is one of the few documented female serial killers.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm not up on all that, but she killed multiple men, and she attacked them because they were men. Huh. But she's one of the few that I'm aware of.
We got one of those in Montreal who only went for women at a university, and then we have Carla Homolka, who's more closer to this area. What area exactly is this?
This is Freedom Plaza. I know Freedom Plaza when I see it. That is Freedom Plaza. As a matter of fact, I know y'all don't like the movie, but in Wonder Woman 1984, when she's running down the street and she lasses onto the building, it was on Freedom Plaza. That same area.
What movie did you say?
Wonder Woman 1984. That's why I said I had to preface it because I know a lot of people don't like it. But that was the scene right there where she was running down the street after she withdrew her wish to get her powers back, and she lasted onto the building. That's Freedom Plaza, where they were just the scene that Chill just showed.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually also down there by a very famous theater called the Warner Theater. It has like a lot of stage plays, concerts, and all types of other nice stuff like that.
This is where he makes the deal. You get the name and the face of that woman out there, because we figured out who it's Shannon. Shannon is the missing woman. Hey, do my
Shannon
bidding. So you get Shannon's face out there. She's like, yeah, a good white woman. But is this attached? Is this connected at all to the, the Amir thing? And he goes, it is. So it shows you how the media works together with the police, with the investigations, what we're supposed to know and what we're not supposed to know, and how it helps with their cases, but also how it helps the PR moves. Because she said, you got 2 hours. I'll give you 2 hours before this goes on our website.
Yep.
America has a fascination with missing white women.
That's the part that I was referring to.
Yeah, we all know the name of John Benet Ramsey, and a whole host of other missing
Natalie Holloway.
Women. I'm sorry?
Natalie Holloway.
Sandra
Levy.
Sandra Levy. There's another Levy as well.
The one that happened last year. What was her name? The one it was her
in Florida, and they were driving all the way to like Utah.
Yes. Yeah, her.
Yeah, it's almost like what she said in this scene is true. What Malika says.
Shannon Whitmer's only been missing a few days, and she's on the front page. And no offense to her, we hope she's okay. But my brother, Amir Goodspeed, a pillar in the community, was killed over 2 weeks ago. And the MPD has only now admitted he was murdered. And he has never seen the front page. Make sure they don't forget Amir.
And she gives him a talking to. And I like how they stopped to show us, like, okay, now this is what it looks like on the ground. Because I know we're all watching the show through the cop's perspective, through Alex Cross's. On the ground, they just saw this woman gets to be on newspaper status. So and it's the #1 show on Amazon. So I'm sure there's a whole lot of people who wouldn't be thinking that way,
because they're portraying like Shannon Whitmer as the all-American white woman.
Yeah.
They put her out there. She fits the profile. Blonde. Well, she's not blonde because she has dark hair, but typically it's the blonde hair, blue-eyed white woman. Typically.
Yeah,
but that's how they put her out there. So I'm glad that they did do that scene because I said that is so true. That's really how it plays out. And they're in DC. That's the crazy part. DC has a lot of black people living in DC, but you put this white woman on there, and they said y'all just now admitted that her brother was murdered after 2 weeks, and he never made the front page.
Right.
And that's why she called it coonery. But on the other side, I know that it was actually Alex Cross who got it on the front page for a reason. It is going to help get the Amir case solved. She doesn't know that. Malika doesn't know that, but I can see her perspective.
Right. As I mentioned a moment ago, America has an issue with missing or murdered white women. We can list a whole host of white women who have been murdered and or missing, but you'd be hard pressed to name 3 other than Sandra Bland missing or murdered white women, black women, So this was a very good microcosm of what's happening in actual America. So I think the writing in this respect is very, very extremely well done. Mute. You're on mute.
My bad. We cut over to this scene here where he's on a date. He says, I'm not going to be a good date until I wrap up this case. What restaurant is he at, Torian?
Ben's Chili Bowl. I'm telling you, that Ben's is going to make an appearance in every episode. I'm telling you. It just is.
I love it.
So basically what you're telling me, Torian, is that I need to make a special trip to DC to go to this place. Is what you're telling
basically me. Literally what they did which was so genius. They said, in case y'all forgot we're in DC, let's go ahead and put this staple in every episode. And I said, that's good marketing for them. That's good promo. As a matter of fact, I think when they were doing promo for this, when they came to DC, they actually did the interviews inside of the Ben's Chili Bowl.
Wow.
They weren't I don't think they were at a news station. They went there and did the interview there.
Good.
Wow. So autumn, we're going to DC. We're going to that place.
I just love that. Like, it's free, it's useful, it helps somebody. They probably are giving you the stage or the set, the scene. What do you call it? The set? The set. There it is. They're giving you that set for free. They probably chose like a slow day. You know, we don't get much business on Mondays, so come in on a Monday and shoot all you want. And
Yeah, and like I said, it's good marketing, it's good promo
Right.
for
Plus, they
that
probably got a
that business.
whole bunch of money to film.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they got paid nicely.
I'm glad.
Yeah. So, long story short, I am enjoying this series. I'm looking forward to episode 6 through 8. Aldis Hodge is a solid actor. I'm not saying he's the best actor in the world. He's a solid actor. The young lady who plays Elle is beautiful. I could see her as Storm, depending on how old she is. I'm enjoying the series. I'm enjoying the show. I really am.
Are you gonna leave? Is that why you said that? Like, you got somewhere to be?
No. I'm just.
I'm
You
telling you,
know,
by the time you get through the whole season, you probably won't be able to go to sleep.
No. 'Cause
like I
I'm
said,
loving
I'm
it. I'm loving the character. Like, Alex Cross is intriguing to me. The way he figures things out. Look at this montage. He's just like figuring it out, and I'm going, I can watch this dude in anything. And we've had Sherlock Holmes' series. We've had intelligent people before. There's this particular reason why I'm behind this guy. It has a lot to do with his skin tone.
of course. The one thing that I will say is in episode 5 is the birthday party episode. I was adamantly opposed to how Alex Cross handled that situation. I did not like it. I thought it was stupid for somebody who's supposedly brilliant and a PhD doctor. I don't think that an actual PhD doctor would have handled that situation at the birthday party the way Alex Cross did. But I'm looking forward to see how it all comes to fruition.
Yeah, when you see how it all resolves itself, then you'll understand why he did it.
I'm trying to figure out who he was talking to in this scene here.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch. I'm not gonna give any spoilers. Torin, don't say anything. But yeah,
I won't.
There's a reason why he's doing
I've
it.
addressed them.
There's a reason what?
There's a reason why the mask is on. There's a
It's
reason.
the book. You know how some people think a photo can take a part of their soul? I think that's the book for him. A way to capture their power for himself. Everything is on track. I am going to finish on the day and the time, as was always the plan. He won't kill forever. He has an ultimate moment he's been working towards for years. And I know that you all want to be there to witness the moment everything changes.
For them to all want to be there, it must mean that it's going to take place in Washington, D.C. Now, I saw on the screen there might have been 10 other people on that video call. And where else in this show have we seen 10 other people other than the police?
We're not saying nothing. We are not saying nothing.
You gotta watch.
All right, I'll say it all. I believe that Chief Anderson is crooked, and everyone is just like, Alex Cross is taking money out of my paycheck because he embarrasses us each and every case. I think we need to eliminate this guy. We need to figure it out. Let's get the one guy crazy enough. Who runs DC's underworld? Ed Ramsey. Listen, help us out. This is a huge conspiracy against this one officer. Is everyone against him on the force? No. That lieutenant? Probably not, because she's the one who made sure. Remember with the blanks, when the crackhead shot at him? She was like, no. We covered you, Alex. You're good. You're fine. I think they said they're fine. They actually asked John, did you see her shooting at Alex, or is it just Alex's word? And he had to admit, no, I didn't actually see her shooting at Alex. I just saw, who knows? Maybe that'll come back. Thank you for remaining quiet, Torian, as I talk this out. And this is good. The mask thing, I didn't know how real life like that would be. I think Star Wars characters also kind of wear the same thing, but they're always playing aliens. That actually looked kind of good.
Yeah, there are people people get those lifelike masks, not like you go to a party city or something like that and get one of those rubber masks. Like they can get actual lifelike masks. And a lot of people use those to the point where, like, if they want to commit some kind of a crime and they really want to get away with it, like, they'll wear a mask like that.
It's diabolical.
Yep.
Very.
Let's go jump over to the ending of the episode. Mark, give me your opinion. Oh, this is going to play ads. Damn it. Damn. I hate Amazon Prime. Good show, man. Good show. Aldis Hodge is the man.
Like I said, all answers will be revealed by the end of the season.
So basically, I'm gonna end up watching the rest of because it's what time is it? It's
7:54.
7:54 Eastern Standard, 8:00. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and watch the remaining 3 episodes. Well, no,
I mean, you might as well. You made it this far.
No, somebody will be mad at me if I don't do that. If I do that, so I'm gonna wait and let that other person catch up, and then we'll go from there. So, yeah.
Okay. I am going to let's just cover one more scene as soon as this ad is done playing, and we're back. Let's just cover one more scene, then we'll call it a stream because we're going really long. We're almost 2 hours. Oh yeah, he just said like anyone could do this to you. Anyone could be in your home manipulating the electronics. That's just the world that we live in. That was terrifying to me to hear that out loud.
Yeah, that's when they was having like the karaoke.
That is correct. So for those who don't know, if you've not watched it, this isn't really a big spoiler. But in one of the episodes, Alex Cross and his family are having a family game night, for lack of a better term, where they're singing karaoke. And in one of the karaoke songs, it's not an actual song, it's something else. And the forensic people who come in and look at it and say, anybody in the world basically could have added this audio comment to this device. Because you're on Bluetooth, because you're on wireless, we will never know who did whatever it was that was done. So,
and that ruined the whole. And that was the call that he gave when his wife was murdered.
Yeah,
it ruined the whole night. Now, for Ed Ramsey to have whoever installed that, who had to have access to that call, means you're down with the police. But that Bobby Trey would have probably been the one.
Well, in fairness, you can have a freedom of information request and ask for that specific call. So you don't necessarily have to have an in with the police department.
So for a freedom of information request, could he use one of those aliases to get the request in?
For a freedom of information request, you can request anything that would be discoverable that's out there in the public domain that has to do with public services. So 911 calls, police reports, things of that nature.
Could you do it with your alias? Because if Ed Ramsey asks for it, then they know,
if it's done with they're not going to check an alias. You know, they're going to probably have a form that says, okay, what's your name? What are you requesting? And what's the email address or whatever. So no. If you have an alias and an email address associated with that alias, yeah, you probably could do that pretty easily. Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Surgery is doing some surgeries, okay, and that's dark.
Yeah, he's giving her that note thing.
Yep.
Alex
Cross is getting surgical also, and
they was playing. And let me also say this: the soundtrack on this show is phenomenal.
Yes.
They was playing that India Ari Ready for Love.
Yeah.
I said that's the perfect song to play for this scene.
Somebody was thinking, and catching him over there at the house is, and I think she said that John told her where he was. She's the detective from Boston who wanted to recruit him. She seems like a good guy. Don't ruin it for me, but I'm hopeful that she's a good guy.
She's an FBI agent. They used to work together, but she's moved on up to the FBI. Is what I'm taking from this.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and I think they had wanted him to be there, but he decided not to
because he's just that good. Someone was using the name. We found some photographs of who the person is. There's a video rather, and that is exactly Ed Ramsey. Now, if this dumbass was she should have wore his mask there. Ed Ramsey is the fanboy killer. And imagine being me, okay? seeing that going, oh, that's episode 4. Got to do the stream, and not needing.
And you said it too earlier, Chill, when you had said the word fanboy. I was like, oh, you jumping the gun, because we didn't get to the part where that's the nickname that they actually gave him. But I said that's the perfect name to give him, the fanboy killer.
That's where we are, and that's where I go. I need to watch this show more, and I will watch this show more. Yeah. I'm out. I'm chill, and I'm out. Subscribe to me, ATL Blerd. You're on episode 5, right? So something you want to say?
5, yeah. So
if you're gonna say something 5 related, go ahead and say something 5 related. The birthday.
I'm not, because I'm waiting on somebody else to catch up. Because
let's just say episode 5 was peak. My God, like it's like whoa, so much stuff happened.
Yeah,
it's some peakness that happens in episode 5.
I was upset with episode 5 because of how certain things went down, but yeah, episode 5 is the penultimate episode for me thus far. Yeah.
Yep. Any last words from the live chat? Get it in now. It says that there was a white man robbing banks while wearing a black man's mask.
It was a white guy. I forgot what state it was in, and he wore that same type of mask that Ed Ramsey was wearing, and he was getting away with it too. Like they was going around looking for a black guy, and it was like, no, it's not me. It's not me. They finally caught him though.
Yeah, they did.
It sounds like what we were talking about earlier when they dismissed the Amir case as a drug overdose. Nothing to think about. Let's not focus on seeing his baby mom take the phone, and they just went, oh, typical. It's black. All right, cool. No, nothing to think about. We're out. Subscribe to me. Zach Attack's reviews was also here. I'll put his link in the description. ATL Blerd will be linked also. What are you going to be doing later on this week, ATL Blerd?
Hopefully we'll have another show on Friday about this week's comic books that have come out. We've not done a show probably in about a month because I've been traveling every weekend for the past month. So hopefully Paul will be available and we can do a show on Black Comic Boards about the books that have come out.
And then you'll be doing what on Tori and Rain Reloaded?
Well, tomorrow I'm gonna be talking about Jaylen Brown and how he confronted Stephen A. Smith for putting some stuff out there about him that wasn't true from a so-called unnamed source. So that's actually what I'm gonna be doing tomorrow. It's gonna be a part 1 and a part 2. The part 1 is gonna be a pre-recorded video. Part 2 is gonna be the actual audio from the interview, and that's gonna be at 6.
Alrighty there. I'm chill. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll probably read the Storm comic book that's coming out. Like
you'll
Storm
be finishing up the season.
I'll do that too. Then I gotta watch Silence of the Lambs.
I was ready to say that.
Thank you for joining. We're out. Thank you again, everyone.